Tramri Pravling Shi Nide Gampadi Sange Shindo Mitewa Gidro Kunanda Jinla Chopasho Dagi Chandang Monsu Kepe Yudra Nembasu Luda Lonchoche Kampa Mepa Bugi Lekshe Nedu Surangsa Gilo Jetsu Lama Dampa Kena Ki Chokun Kala Kense Chudzin Tree Jita Sampe Dujezima Laza Gechoki Chapa Waptu So Idam Guru Ratnam Mandala Kamirayatayami go to this, Chandra, say it, Colombian dress songs, I'll go to next.
So, based on the motivation that we have generated while reciting the refuge and bodhicitta prayer, now we can now engage our regular meditation practice.
Something to that. Son theatres, Shasin Rover, Gare Senator, Chat Tembaba, Sujagarish, Chat Tembaba, Rondo, Seja Soju Coin Dungan, Gigi Drop, Teleshop in Nepal, and the Najibata, Kenzan Dish, each the share, Ding Gonita, Lonia Celera, Lonia Cella Seminata, De Tony, Lojato Carizan, Sencha Tonjalata. They are 20 they were doing what in minutes. She had a good them, Suji Combo there, top. The Chedi is nothing. I call it in the Pandana, we are asking something to
So the way that one can incorporate the refuge and refuge and then the bodhicitta motivation as when we recite the prayers is that envisioning the Buddha Shakyamuni in the space before oneself, one then develops a sort of a heartfelt, how should we say, one develops a heartfelt conviction in the Buddha, in the Dhamma, and the Sangha that you have the complete ability to protect myself from all the fears of cyclic existence. What we call the lower realms and all of cyclic existence, and so therefore, with having generated a sense of fear and disgust to the sufferings of the cyclic existence, then having generated the fear and developing a sort of a real sense of urgency of wishing to be free from that, then one places entire sort of reliance upon the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha as the ability, who has the ability to free oneself. Then with that, so with that sort of conviction in one's mind, then the practice that one follows after having taken refuge is that one engages in the means, the paths and the grounds to engage in the means to liberate all other sentient beings also from the miseries of suffering, cycle existence, and place them upon the ultimate happiness of joy and happiness of enlightenment. So with that, so if one incorporates that in one's mind, then that would, so that's really the essence. So thus, so then for this particular practice we do now for the meditation, then one can incorporate that. So for that purpose, in order to liberate all beings, and as mentioned earlier, is for that purpose that I'll engage in the meditation practice. Now we can generate the motivation for receiving the teachings along the same lines that for the sake of all mother sentient beings, I need to achieve enlightenment. So for that purpose, I will engage into listening to the teachings and put into practice well. So, indeed, familiarizing with the intention to benefit others, even just even by through the mere act of generating the motivation is really a worthwhile practice, because as we familiarize with setting the right motivation before engaging in a practice, then through that through that good sort of we can say good habits, we can actually then ensure that we try to have a positive mind before we engage in any activity, as it is the case where the mind or the thought precedes whatever activity we engage in. So therefore, if the state of mind or the thought prior to engaging in any activity is virtuous and a positive, then there's no question that whatever activity we engage in will be positive, will be only ways, in activities that can be of a benefit for others. So then that will be incredibly meaningful. So in fact, this has a great, how should we say, this in itself has a great instruction, in a point in it, that our mind precedes any activity that we engage in, and then furthermore, that if we were to generate a mind of wishing to benefit others, then that will ensure that whatever activity we engage in will be how should we say, activities that will be not be how should we say, non-virtuous or negative. So with the practice that we have just engaged in giving and taking practice, or rather more literal translation, taking and giving practice, is really, as we are aware, practice that enhances love and compassion within our heart. And so particularly when in the giving, when we give our, how should we say, when we by taking the giving practice particularly, then it enhances the love towards sentient beings, giving happiness to those who are deprived of happiness. And when engaging in the practice of taking, then one particularly engages in the practice of enhancing compassion by taking upon the unwanted sufferings of sentient beings upon oneself. And so thus with this practice, as one further familiarizes with this practice, then when one reaches really a particularly sort of like what we call heightened or perfected level of how should we say, perfected level of feeling love and compassion towards others, that is a stage where when one would as soon as one sees any living being who is deprived of happiness, one would spontaneously and naturally develop a very strong wish, sort of, how should we say, unbearable sort of wish for them to be endowed with happiness. And as soon as one sees any beings who are suffering, then again spontaneously and unbearably one will be not being able to bear seeing them sufferings, one will spontaneously have a wish them to be free from sufferings. So it is in this way that it is in this way that when that is even developed, when that sentiment is developed further, one will come to naturally a point where it is not sufficient only for one to wish them to be endowed with happiness and be free from suffering, but one needs to actually take upon that responsibility oneself. That one needs to actually actively engage in means for other beings to be endowed with happiness and to be actually free from sufferings. So this is then the point where the practice of the Tonglen becomes very relevant, when one reaches a point of taking that personal responsibility oneself. Then that is where the practice of Tonglen becomes really, how should we say, fruitful.
That's on the thing is on. When I show about the years of Bashivachi, relation to that, young and the son do with it. About the Giuseppe, Sanjaka, road with Chibares. Road there. Road Duma Mendecas, there, Duma Mendecas, a wrong roller never see him do, wrong roller pedal check do. The long Maria, Kindle on the Jenny, a wrong roll never share the way are the thing to that into me. You know, on the Tedona. So Shambaya, so Ninja. They are the mother Shibuchi, Duma the Trandet Shibuchi yard. Is a wrong roller never see a roller, Peton roller never see Mare. Shiba Roger Manana, that's Tatet. Shiba Roger Nenge Jigger, wrong roller, Peton roller never see Mare. Wrong roller, Peton roller never machine, but Jensen cover things. Ronnie down there, Duma Madeba, Jensen tell to Shanty. That Tetune. Road on your Saint Kande, down the Dunga Mendeba, reason, thing on Lohat Papa, oh, Saint Jala Page, never see him do. Yanamandu, young under Apple, go. Then is that J. Connie, so longer chin tene, Shambani, Yeshe, Zomali, Shedek, Sat, and sell to by the mother, then how going you are. Many in I should have the Shamba easy together. Jaga Fancy in I tended the Shedder, that cover together, because I teach Shamba Indian together, and then you are to the coach. Yapos and laying this down that.
So thus when we really contemplate on the necessity and the values of love and compassion, it's really unfathomable. It is like, really incredible of how beneficial love and compassion, the need for love and compassion is. The way to generate love and compassion, as explained in the teachings, is by really one of the simplest methods is by really relating other sentient beings to their how should we say, their need for happiness and their need to be free from suffering, relating that need to oneself. Just as oneself wishes to be, one naturally wishes to be happy and does not wish to experience any kind of suffering, that is exactly the same for all other living beings. So when one really contemplates further, it is in fact the case. Just as one would not voluntarily wish for any unhappiness oneself, and thus one would not intentionally cause any suffering for oneself, unless, of course, in state of mind of extreme anger or frustration, when one's minds, when one's senses are not in a how should we say, when one's not in one's right senses, we can say, then that might be a case where oneself or others may harm oneself, but naturally, instinctively, there's no intention to harm oneself, because one considers oneself as the one's dearest and most precious, and thus one would naturally do everything that's possible to make oneself happy, and do everything possible to relieve oneself from any suffering. So that is the same for when one contemplates on that fact that all other beings are exactly the same in that same situation, then that will instill that the need that just as for oneself, it is also exactly the same, that is right and befitting to wish other beings to also be happy and free from suffering, just based on that natural instinct that we all have. So indeed, when one really contemplates in this way, and thus genuinely wishes for others to be happy, and contributes in every possible way for the others, to others' happiness, and wishing others to be free from suffering, and contributing in every possible way to others to be free from suffering, then on a practical level, we can see that how these sentiments will definitely contribute to bringing about really world peace. World peace is what we consider about world peace is a world which is free from harms, free from harming each other, and causing conflicts, distress to each other. So in terms of world peace, and this is this would be the optimum way, and also in relation to the nations within one nations, their harmony and goodness within a nation. This also again exactly the same sentiments would contribute to that. And even amongst two people, a relationship between two people, that a good mutual, how should I say, good relationship is really based on a mutual sense of real care, real concern, wanting the other to be happy and be free from suffering. So this we can see that on all levels we can relate the importance of this sentiment. So this indeed is something that is manageable. We can, because we already have the basis of love and compassion within oneself. It's not as if we have to acquire and to search for somewhere else to practice this, because we already have the basis of love and compassion. Now, with certain other qualities or states of mind, we may have to search and really try to cultivate and practice, which we have not yet developed. We have to freshly develop and cultivate. However, with love and compassion, we all already have that basis within oneself.
So con yaba koyaji to the kenja te yaji madangi tabaji yan tonya zidentini yo mane shomba nije so ni ji de ja delia tel ni nyole ma yan tonya jeden ta yu mobo ne ta seng da ngene de yu mobo ta ten tonya she de ya bu me seng da te ten ta son de ton de da e da ja so so ngane shomba ni je chen ya bu de wa de tingi de se wa re.
So so thus, because we have love and compassion within ourselves right now, that we have the basis of that, and it is a matter of really further developing that, really cherishing, protecting that, and so as I regularly share with you that it is important, it is most practical for one to further develop what we already have as a basis, rather than trying to acquire something which may seem like much higher and grander, which we may not be able to reach right now, or it may not be within our reach right now, but yet we sort of like seem to try to go after something grander and greater while neglecting the fundamental basis of these good qualities of love and compassion already within oneself. So there are many teachings which actually so for example, to give an example of those things which is maybe not within our immediate reach right now would be like miraculous powers or clairvoyances. These are something which we may not have yet developed, and if we try to think that we have to develop that soon or something, or quickly, or try to reach that right away, that will be tiring ourselves out. And so the main point again is to neglect what we have as the essential qualities of love and compassion, and trying to then develop or I should not develop, but rather try to aim for something higher and grander is a fault, which many teachings have actually expressed. Many teachings do mention that this is where we fall short, of the practice. So we are unfortunately on not lack of objects of compassion just here in Australia, as we've seen recently with a lot of the devastation of the fires, in bushfires. So it's definitely a lot of need of compassion. So I had been to these areas where the fire devastation has happened now. I occasionally mentioned the names. I didn't quite get it, but so. So I had been there, it might have been about 20 years ago, and stayed about 2 weeks in that area. And those days was much different than it is now. And also there's a family who used to, someone who used to come to study group.
He lived there. Or sometimes your wife come. I went there to see that. He moved there. And that's in my mom. Yeah, moved that. That was something to happen there. That Yeshe, that taking a gas. Shoma Yeshe, yet another poem. When another doing a mission, told him other young monk sharing the other. So some they be dying that. Nije apojo, Shomba apojo, Mangasa. So lachi, never she thinks a Duman told and other 10 said the California. right? And the Mara was they are poor, they are then the Calicom, she on the Chinese channel. I don't want to not you. The Lord Yara Chirenva. The on getting a Penchi Chilangado, Rota Yungua. Saying, Duma Nala Mazepa, they import Mazepi, Shonije Tiga, Ta, Sasa Nebayana, Malatin, or Russia Batini, Yungua something.
So the main point again is that we are not deprived of objects of compassion. There's it is really a sad situation where there's so many who are suffering around. When we look around in every situation, there's so many who are deprived of happiness and experiencing great suffering. So by focusing on these pitiful states and beings in these states, we can definitely develop a sentiment of feeling really great sort of on a very basic level. It might be sort of like a sense of pity, but then really developing a more compassion towards them and compassion and love towards them. Now, of course, we having said that we're not deprived of objects of compassion, we might not readily develop love and compassion towards someone that we have, feel some hostility towards, or someone we consider our enemy. That might be when we, because of our unruly mind, we seem to not, we might even have the opposite towards an enemy of wishing them calamity and mishap, and being glad when they, are how should we say, are suffering and deprived of happiness. So this is, of course, the unruly mind. But so leaving that aside, if we can, even if we can't practice that immediately, there are still yet so many others we can, focus on as objects of compassion, on love and compassion. And so, really, they're developing a state of mind of not being able to bear the sufferings that they're undergoing, and not being able to bear the lack of happiness that they are experiencing. So then that can definitely instill the wish that the stronger we have that sentiment in our mind, then whenever the opportunity arises, one will feel quite readily to be able to help, practically provide benefit and help, benefit to the others. So this is how our actual practice of helping, benefiting others comes from the sentiment of not being able to bear seeing their, witnessing their sufferings and being deprived of happiness. So in our last session we were reading to the points of the conditions, favorable conditions needed for calm abiding, based on the also the, how should we say, or the verse here which mentions that while the conditions for calm abiding are incomplete, meditative stabilization will not be accomplished even if one meditates strenuously for 1,000 years. So this was how the importance of the conditions, the required conditions for calm abiding were stressed in this verse. So in the text itself, according to the teaching of the lamp of the path, as the comment explains, then there are the four main favorable conditions, which are as mentioned here, what we call having the morality and having a sound morality, and then having less desires, having contentment, and relying on a secluded so that being like the basic, then according to the Lamrim teachings that you might have also discussed in your discussion session, there's the 6 which are so that then the 2 extra which are applied upon that, so that making 6. So do you? So now, having discussed that yourselves, I suppose you can list them out. What they are? Can anyone list?
Yeah, Magida. Huh?
No, the Kazan this Kachi the Sushayo, that didn't know. Did it do? No. So, if that is according to the Lamrim presentation and liberation palm of hands, and Geshe was saying that's I've said it would be good to check, read it, read the sources from liberation palm your hands as well as Lamrim Chimo, the extensive. So what I presented as a pointer last time, as for you to discuss and so forth, was for you to actually do the research and read it and make familiar by reading the text yourselves. So thus then to cover some of the main points of the 6 prerequisites or conditions. The first is dwelling in the conducive place. So while there's some extensive explanation, the main thing, really the main point is that the conducive place would be for the practitioner themselves, and a place which is in accordance to their temperament, a place which is a place that is of liking, that is like suitable to the practitioner themselves, the yogi themselves. So as the liberation in your palm quotes here from actually the ornament of the sutras by Maitreya, this has the 5 particular features which are quoted here, which are listed in this verse. So any place where the wise practice, has excellent provisions, is a wholesome place, is a healthy location, has noble friends at hand, and has the facilities to satisfy the yogi.
watching the go mad, and let how was so this go rest, I think they are.
So this then it actually explains here further that you know the place where you seek to engage in the practice should be a place where you can easily find means for your for your needs. So this is an important point, because if you go in such a remote area where it will be difficult for you to get provisions, then that in itself can be an obstacle, as you know, in a lot of time and energy and a lot of strenuous ways to actually obtain the basic needs would not be met.
Dipa sabi ta teni tsaya teni nyego mare lepa mare pa teni do a chi ngore wang do lonso ngore wa rang a chi ma ba chi chebo yin do do ne da swan choi che teni jana ro ma lonso yin da teni lepa nye pa chi re che son do de wa chi di je do lonso de sen pei ni nye ba shin de nye pa lepa nye ma yi ya kong de wa son de zo da.
So then also if, in terms in relation to having to be an excellent a wholesome place, so that has excellent provisions was mentioned earlier. So being a wholesome place is where a place which is conducive for one's practice, so a place which is, you know, like I think the first point Geshe was mentioning is with a place of being, I should say, excellent provisions. That is, first of all, that in order to explain that, one needs to be a place where one could easily sustain oneself, easily get the provisions. Otherwise, even for one's main, how should we say, survival, if that becomes a difficulty and problematic, then that will be a hindrance, an obstacle to one's continuous practice. And another point which is stressed here is that the supplies that one gets should be free from what is called wrong livelihood, or like those which livelihoods which are obtained with a lot of negativity. So to be free from such livelihood, and so the excellent provisions here implies also that it has to be from an ethical source, the provisions one gets.
다 세나한테 소설 좀 보자 고장 얘네 고야부장 맞아 고야부장 그 센데 미바지 내가서 센데 미바야 보면 내가 내가 고저잖아 센데 지어사다 저번 저건도 얘네 있어 고야부장 미바는 문에 봐 세카체 온 미바 문에 봐 안도 뉴아인데 코로 세카야 뭐만요 되는 줄 안는데 이들 만요니 시바로 매바지 제운도 코로 밤미바 밤만도.
So the point about obtaining one's supplies which is free from a wrong livelihood, or obtained, that they are free from being obtained with which involve a lot of negativities, is that there seems to be definitely a significance here of emphasizing that, because for actual practitioners, it seems that definitely the food, the provisions they get, or especially in relation to like foods that they consume, definitely has an effect on their mind and thus their meditation practice. So food which is obtained through wrong livelihoods that involve a lot of like negativities, like stolen goods and so forth, seem to actually have a negative effect on the mind. It actually disturbs the mind for a meditator who consumes that. It is there's this term which is kortib, which is something like it's like polluted. The sustenance itself is polluted, so it actually pollutes the mind. So we, even on our level, we can we have some experience of how certain foods are disagreeable to our mind. We feel lethargic and feel heavy after we consume that, and then certain foods we feel kind of light, and we actually, our mind seems a bit fresher after we have consumed that. So even on our level, we can see that there's the foods that we have, even on grosser levels, does have effect on the mind. So on the more subtle levels, where the food comes from and how it was obtained definitely would have an effect on the mind as well. And then on the second point, which is that it should be a wholesome place, as the teaching explains here, a wholesome place would be, for example, a place where it is consecrated by like past great masters or saints or great masters, that they have actually been in that place. So it is explained that when the place itself is blessed, then due to the environment, due to that actual place itself being a blessed place, it helps to bless one's own mind, to be conducive for one's mind, for one's practice. So we again can have that experience when we go to the holy site such as Bodh Gaya. Just by going and visiting this holy place in Bodh Gaya, we can see that immediately we naturally feel sort of like more tranquil, more calm, and we feel the positive effect upon us right away. So so that is an example. So this reminds me of we are in a situation now where we have to go to places which can bless our mind. We are not yet at the level of being the other way around where we can bless the places. So this reminds me of a time when several years ago, when one of the lamas that I had a close acquaintance with, Thupten Rinpoche, he was going into retreat, a 3-year retreat up in the Dandenong mountain ranges, and so there was sort of like a little bit quiet area, and Dunedin, sorry, in the Dunedin. Outside. Oh, sorry, in Dunedin, that is in New Zealand. So in a sort of a quiet, remote area in Dunedin. So one time when I happened to be there, prior to him going into retreat, I went to visit, and we had a lunch there together. And then at one point, the Rinpoche said, the Rinpoche was actually not present at that time, but his attendants were saying, "Oh, Geshe-la, could you bless the place?" And so at that time, I made the comment that, I'm not possible in any way to bless the place. I'm someone who needs to be blessed by a place myself. So I'm not suitable. So I think that that was a good response of myself, and in fact a good sort of practice to abide by, to when people ask for blessings or something, and to assume that one could bless the place. Of course, if one has the abilities and one has reached certain levels where one is able to bless the place, then there's no question that would be suitable and most beneficial. But if one hasn't reached certain levels, then to presume that, to make the presumptions that yes, one can do this, and when people make requests, sort of agree and say like, oh yes, okay, I can bless the place. So that I never attempt to follow that kind of way, and I feel So then the text further explains that if you cannot find such a place, particular place where holy beings have blessed it, then at the very least, wherever you stay should not be dwelling of someone who has, for example, a place where someone has, and here maybe the translation would have to be slightly changed to, because it's not specifically any vows, broken his vows, but actually the Tibetan word here is, I think normally translated as samaya. So that is particularly in relation to breaking pledges with one's Vraja master. So it is explained very clearly in teachings that a place where someone has broken their pledges with their own spiritual mentor or guide, teacher, and such a place would be a unsuitable place. One would not be able to develop realizations in such a dwelling in place. And then also then furthermore is or otherwise also where someone has created a schism within the Sangha. Then furthermore is also on a practical level, it explains that it should be a place where there are no beasts of prey, such as tigers and fearsome animals and thieves or wrathful spirits. So that's again, such a place could be again hinder one's practices. So in terms of in relation to the wrathful spirits, there are many who even here in the West do talk about harms and feel that they have some non-human entity who have harmed them. So the actual Tibetan word here is non-human entity, so which is translated here as spirits, but also a conducive place or wholesome place would also imply having like good sustenance, such as water. The water is drinkable, good water, and that the earth itself is like good earth, good sort of like soil that's not sort of polluted place, and like a fertile place. So that also would be implied. Then also the having good companions, which such as people who are ready to help.
사조제 동안나 삼만대와 칠만대와 제 릴나산은 당하용 삼만도 있었는데 라 신의 파자는 그래서 사전 로인가야 다 계속 빠지는 데라 야시고 제기선 대리대하더니 내가 다스니 년가야래 사성터지.
So again, the significance of having a suitable place in terms of the environment itself being like having good water and good sort of location free from pollution is so that one will not befall sort of any ailments or sicknesses due to the water not being disagreeable or the place itself, the climate or the place itself, the ground itself not being disagreeable to oneself. If one would befall any ailments and sicknesses, then one would then easily be disheartened and give up the practice of pursuing to develop a calm abiding. And then one may even then think, oh, what's the point of staying in a place such like this? I might as well go in more comfortable, nice place, and sort of go down to maybe I need to make make some money first to get a better place, and then we'll get involved in getting and earning and so forth. So in terms with the friends here, it also mentions that the friends should be friends conducive to both view and deeds. So that means the friends would be like-minded people, like not someone who's agreeable to one's ways and West thinkings, and so that sort of friends one has to be surrounded by such friends, not sort of like who would disagree with So further it explains here that explains that one should not, of course, having the conducive friends, it means here that one should not attempt to stay alone, completely alone, because if one were to stay alone, and then if there was anything to happen or any dangers, then if one didn't have reach with some friends who can come to one's aid, then that will be again an obstacle. So therefore, but the friends that one relies upon, as mentioned here, should be friends who are conducive in the sense of like not someone who has excessively a lot of different ideas and thoughts and giving different suggestions all the time or having a negative influence upon oneself. It seems here that it is very damaging for beginners to live alone without friends, but you should have at least 3 friends at hand. And if they are dharmic friends, it is better to have even more. So then it says, however, no matter how many friends you have, there must be people who command your respect. Do not be friends that are disrespectful or unscrupulous. So here in the point where it mentions that there must be people who command your respect, this is really a point where on a mutual level, when you have friends who you respect, then the friends themselves, being dharmic friends and who are worthy of respect, would be a natural reminder of one for oneself also to be like them. It's some friend, when you have very good friends, dharmic friends, they can serve a similar purpose of having like a spiritual, what we call a spiritual teacher or friend, like what we call a spiritual friend, which is an actual teacher, can serve the same purpose by seeing them and by relating to them. It naturally reminds you of the practice and their actions and your own actions remind each other of the practice and so forth. The Dharma practice then becomes a really very good and conducive friends. So this is something definitely possible. There are definitely friends like that where can really help to enhance your practice rather than becoming a negative influence.
Samo then check then cheda dingla so be meba shingis yenere moira momo pachi judera then chamoina chi choke apuja ni ta tumu kaswa yen mdiang yen chike chocho jangyang yen de main se vera sine na bisai ge chin de wo de bistara na phajini kum ho ne o tene me pasiko gres.
So, of course, while you can read the text to go into more detailed explanations or more thorough explanation, you can read through yourself. But I'll just read some of the main points as a way to get a comprehensive understanding. So, as it mentions here also that also that, in other words, it also said that because sounds are irritants to concentration, in other words, the place must not have the sound of people by day or the sounds of dogs or running water at night. So thus, part of the conducive place itself would be a place where it does not have too much distractions in the form of noise. Because then that can hinder your concentration. Mm-hmm. So this reminds me at one time when I was staying somewhere that near the beach area somewhere, and you could hear the water crashing against the rocks, and that was like always very loud. You keep hearing that even at night became even more louder. So that reminds me. It was like. So it would be, not to be a place like that where there's constant sounds that can distract you. Oh no, Haiti. So yeah, this reminds me of one Geshe, the acquaintance Geshe Palden. Apparently was once asked to teach at the center in Tahiti. Yeah, Tahiti. And apparently he was telling me that the house they were staying in was near the ocean, and there was like constant sound from the ocean, and it was hard to even sleep in the night. And it was also so warm and like really very humid and hot, so I couldn't stay too long there.
Lode kunde jimin sazo ane chozo nanjo she yoje desi tati ki che ore goji de las tangene gojare tande gore nanjo de yoje sen dande ngene deres nanjo de yoje sen shi tene ja sajan toje desa tel 제가 만nya nanjo de yoje sen diwa sen sa roso roso tere dodi je nanjo de yoje sen dande deres ore goji tela 티소지 정도 체가 당스. 얘네들 소소 거저 가르 거잖아 대라잖아 너무 티바시 티베텔라 손노동 아 티서 거서시 티바시 티바텔로 손노동 그러다 티바 티주도 다 싫어하거든 당연히 정도체 따다질래 거세 티베 싫어도 소주 싫어 그는 거는 용거 예다는 서서 도모 거자 전에는 전에 것도 가려는다 대체 나가래 도모 손을 하고 티그래 다 손을 또 그러나 다 소주 싫어하거든 색때데 내신이 다 정도 다 티베 싫어하되 무시 뭐마시 손비 싫어하되 다제 비다 라 내시 잡으실래 일단 돼서 정도 쳐봐도 꼰진 접어서 내저들다 하죠 가자 저시 받으라 되네 내리 여제 덴바데스 내리 여제스다 되네세 고 춘존하지 다 대가다 그거야 가제 고 자산도네 가라 대지진이 너당마 가도걸 같이 용도하더니 말아 대진이래 소대를 봐자 당마 가도걸지 이상은 내 야부 대건다 선돈 줄 야부 이다 내 누아제네 이다 대래 지소제 정도 채받도 다 지소 정도 다 고천조나질래 가르잖아 내 여제 내 마대제 나 그사 치기사 치 빼자기사 빼자 다 대타대 야부 저거가라 고디야바 오나 저거는 아주지 하나 예전한테는 온치가 온치가래 다 온치가 맞네 고도고지 티지시가 티시 대마대 소소는 빼자 다사지요는 야부 가기 대야 단난저 내 여제 생겨는 예제 될다 고 추죠 롱안에 배 거저 차송하지 다 여러 완전 손선동 려대 대르지 소지 개종 제도나나 ndripadon zona nyole nela kipa jebai so nyole nela ju kipa je gogre de abulang de aze.
So the next point explained here in the text is relating to this last line in the verse quoted earlier from the Ornament of the Sutras, where it says and has facilities to satisfy the yogi. So on this point, as a teaching explains here, as a Papangor Rinpoche explains, you should be someone who can stand on your own feet, on 2 feet, through study and contemplation. You have eliminated inaccuracies about the meaning of the things that you are to meditate on. So here, really, this is the significant point, which is that the preparation one needs to do prior good preparation of such as mentioned in the teachings, that one first listens to an instruction well, and then one then contemplates and thinks about it further, and then one comes to the point then of being actual to gain to be able to meditate on it. So as is further explained here, such a person is equipped to gain satisfaction. And as further explained, however, this could also mean you have made all the necessary preparations, such as having the initiations, teachings, books, and so forth. So here, in relation to what practice one is doing, with certain practices, you need to, for those who need to receive initiation first, you have to have received the initiations, and then the instructions or the teachings upon the things that you to meditate on, and then furthermore, at times when you're alone and so forth, then you can have the reliable sources such as the books, the textbooks to rely upon. So then this is what is emphasized here. And as mentioned here, the main thing is to be skilled at doing your practice. So this is, as mentioned further here in the text, there are some who failing to engage, failing to acquire the, failing to prepare themselves well.
then they Mashiba, what to this thing the one I go jagger, Tadi, she, Swadiga, Tadi, Apo, Tangi Cartier Garrison, Hangis Cartier, Corey, you to Nakoma, Tom, what are the young, most are Caricasa, this is young young in it. More than Cariosa, so you to get a racing young. So, none that was so. Cousin the mother, the Trafat and Jabba, rest. The Mashiba Nyosa, Logi, Chilla, Tadi, Lapa Shagis, Teta Mashiba, Nyosa, Logi, Chilla, Tadi, Lapa Shagis, that tongue and a thing, your mothers, Nyosa, Chicola, Tadi, Apusheta, Tibashaga, Tiba, Somba, Tane, Chichati, Onjaga, on. Then no you take the then Bejate Tasubazu, then Tizan, go to John. I tried to think that's.
So thus, as emphasized, as explained here, this point being emphasized here is these days people's main preparation seems to be working hard at making a living. So when it comes time to actually practice, they have no idea what to do and then are compelled to request dice divinations and so on. So this is the point that I was also mentioned earlier, that some people, they after hearing teachings and relying on certain deities, then later when they might then ask questions like, oh, what mantra should I be reciting, or what or what mantras I should be reciting. These so this would be a similar case where if one has prior preparation and knowledge of what practices to do, then one need not have to go at the last minute resort trying to find out from others. So as emphasized in this point in the conclusion here, that do not act like this, make proper preparations for your Dharma practice. So this is the main point emphasized here.
The chapa the meg and never chun those chapa me by going down by the seki meg and there are some tether the new and never chun. I said that seki so mobile zombo mobile chapa me then never chun. I said that never che chun at the lotion never chat. Otherwise, some tell that's some tell.
So having few ones, or otherwise can sometimes also translated as having less desire. Having few wants or having less desire means, is explained here in the teaching where it says having few wants means having no attachment to large quantities of fine clothes, good food, and so forth. So it does not suggest that one should not have fine clothes or good food and so forth, but having excessively, wanting more than what is necessary. So so the opposite of that will be having. So the opposite of this will be those who have a lot of wants, or having great desire would be those which is the opposite of this, which is wanting in large quantities of fine clothes and food and so forth. So that is what one needs to avoid.
Never check Sazon Rona, Sazon Megachala, and Dungal Shuna, Dungal Shuna, Dungal Shuna, others, Shaloban, Roda, Sazon Megachala, and Tosun, and Shanga, then rising Alishuna, and then rising Alishuna, and they watch here and about that. Is that the dark was what they are poor and on second that time church they watch at the edge at church pass it.
So indeed practicing to have fewer wants or less desire is something that would be really on a practical level really useful for one's life, because if one does not try to develop a sense of having fewer wants and then the opposite of that would be where one always wants to, always desires and longs over something more than one has. And then with such a mind, then when you go out, it'll be really hard, difficult to bear seeing all the nice things around, because each nice thing you see, your mind starts thinking, oh, I wish I had that. I wish I could have this. And then going out and about in the outside world would cause so much wants and needs in your mind that it can become, quite uncomfortable and unbearable for your mind.
Jombi giba the yi sipa di sengdua, cho sipa jombi giba yi sengdua, mobile rezen, yi la jengere, no la chochiana, yel dayo. No la chushiman, yel dayo wangata, so something that one da, cho sipa dese, deshi chushi sipa, si mashuna, said dela dota, something.
So then the next point is being content. So as a teaching explains here, contentment is making to do with bare necessities of food and clothing. And then further mentions that you will be attached to sensual things if you're not content and do not have few wants. So therefore, practicing contentment and few wants or less desire is really as mentioned earlier, a practice which can really help one's mind to be more satisfied, more satisfied, and otherwise having a lot of wants and being discontent can cause a lot of turmoils in one's mind. There's always sort of like something's not. There's something which one is not satisfied with, something more that one wants, and in that unsaturated mind or unsatisfied mind is one which can cause a lot of turmoil in the mind. As Nagarjuna mentioned, the real true meaning of wealth is to have contentment. So that is, as explained by Nagarjuna, when one has wealth is the measure of wealth is when one has real contentment in one's mind, a satisfaction in one's mind. That is a true, So thus, as the teaching further explains, that so as a consequence of being attached to sensual things, you will not develop single-pointed concentration because you will be distracted by the need to protect your possessions and so forth. And so as explained here, first of all, one is attracted because there are so many needs in relation to one's sensual attachments, sensual desires. First, one would have to exert oneself and put a lot of strenuous effort and exert oneself to try to acquire these essential objects of sensual pleasure. And then once one obtains them, There will be the lot of energy, a lot of exertion one has to put in trying to protect them in the fear that it will be lost or taken or stolen by others. And so in such ways, it becomes such a distraction to one's mind that one cannot possibly develop a single point of concentration. So thus, just developing a sense of contentment in whatever in one's wealth or any situation is really helps one's mind to really settle down and not being too overly anxious, and so it can be really just to think that okay, this is sufficient for me, that I know this much is good for me. I feel this is good. So thus the main point here is that one needs to protect oneself from not being not following sensual distractions. So that is the main point.
No success and catching on myself with your guardian so much that there, a taken Janada. I'm on the Sadataba girls at the knees, I'm on Sadataba girls and Sue Samba, Sue Gazella, so Japan. My dear about the legal bar, so not only the Sadat, the next son from my abon to our pension. Necessary, necessary sugar, and this about corner, a only upon to ask.
So then the next is condition is to having pure ethics. So as the teaching explains here, that in general ethics are the basis for all good qualities. So thus as presented here, indeed the observing ethics is said to be like really the foundation, the basis or foundation of all other good qualities that are to be acquired. So then the ethics or morality would be another specific term. The definition of morality or ethics is the mind of restraint. So thus the mind of restraint means in relation to the 10 non-virtuous deeds. One of the first teachings in teachings of morality, the Buddha first laid down this 10 misdeeds that one should refrain from if one were to follow a righteous life, a moral life. So that is such as restraint from killing, restraint from stealing, and so forth. So thus when one develops the mind of restraint, restraint towards killing and making decision of avoiding killing, that is the practice of morality, and so forth.
I anything is a Tara Yijan, Rabba Shian, Trad Dancer, on that near diligent Chanta, she had to give a young woman. She took Loas and Dogger and Mochia, Nongi Eada, Ea Rapachi, Ea Tramonisa, Ea Rapade, Karjazen, she gave the job. Ea Tramon dances the job. The Ea Rabade thing in the key by Shawashe. Yeah, Chamo Dante, Pato Pasha, Dugger want to make a chicha, Lovasandri. In and did the child, she on the Gapani, men and Nongi, Ea Chamo, no, sure, Ea Rabapona, dishes, Ea Chamote, Ea Chamona, then all sure, Ea Cham, Ea Rabapona, dishes, Nongi, thing and the color. Xiang the Gepiga, Nia Masheba Digata, Temashu Tella, she is in it, no Rabapona, Tigres, saying to us.
So the text teaching then further explains the need for pure ethics, having pure ethics, which is explained here as follows. Pacification of the subtle internal distractions depends on the abandonment of gross external distractions. So therefore, when one, if one does not follow ethics, then one is basically not refraining from oneself from even the gross level of external distractions. So there's no way that one can overcome the subtle internal distractions if one does not first how should we say, attempt to overcome the gross external distractions. So now again here with internal distractions, what would be maybe presented here in this context of developing calm abiding, what may be presented here would be like the faults of to meditative concentration, which is dullness, how should we say, dullness or laxity and excitement. However, yet another way to present, as I usually also like to expand on the subtle internal distractions, there being grosser and subtle internal distractions as well. I would, as referring to some other teachings on specifically when the three higher trainings are presented, then in context of the three higher trainings, the grosser inner distractions would be excitement and laxity, whilst the subtle inner distractions would refer to as the grasping to the self. Grasping to the self, and so the gross level of the gross distraction, inner distractions of laxity and or dullness and excitement are overcome by meditative concentration, whereas the subtle inner distractions, which is the grasping to self, is overcome by the view realizing selflessness. So this is how it can be understood on a more.
No, wala ra le re se re shro je ya rapa de ne tsre ya bu yo no shro je no ye rapa bu to ya ya tsre ya bu da ne shro je no ye rapa de bu yo ne se den no sin ne yo no tsre me se ten no da ya ma re no ye rapa bu to ya ma re da lo wa se le ja na da tsre da re said sure no you rapping on the road tell said don't said no sin net that says the no sin negrela no you try ni jane no you rapada that said me ba che ne na yo ke na so de chian de ke pa ni di ting and the kick ba shen ro de kick sha che da no you chamo the dance the han to bu sha che ga de na ana shira ga ni sha che ga ha ko so shin no to rapade no rapade sandro ba sha che ni so de ji ti un de ma sin de yong da no ting an de se ne ga re la ting an de she ge do ne ge ba de she ge un de ma ra se chin da de 가자 다 소택시라 소택시라지래 말이야 띵한적지래 다 매발라 내내 대 다 참모라 내내래 너희 참모들 단적 온도 만나봐대 다 시라지 라바지 진다 이거야 다 된세가 넌 내내 싫어져 이야 라바뽕라 대시에서 쓰려야나 싫어 예봐 라바 본토가래 대시 토가래 대만 본토가 말이야 다 되네 대 마토나 다 가르쳐야 되다 마토나 너도 라비 가르쳐야 자 싫어져 이야 라바 너도 라바로 와 아려면 주다 저러더니도 공에 지스로 너도 알아 되지 마시나 간다 되세요 근데
so that's the to further expand on how the pacification of the subtle internal distractions depends on the abandonment of gross external distractions, is that if the gross external distractions are not overcome, then the one would not possibly be able to attempt to overcome the internal subtle distractions. So thus, following ethics, when by observing ethics or morality, it will prevent. It will, how should you say? By observing morality or ethics, it will thus prevent you from engaging in pursuing sensual desires and following sensual distractions. And so thus by far, when one lessens one's engagement in sensual distractions, then naturally one's external sort of distractions are pacified, and thus when the external distractions are pacified, and thus then one is able to now become more one's state becomes more conducive to actually engaging in meditation to overcome the subtle inner distractions. So thus, based on the three moral trainings, higher moral trainings, first is based on morality. By observing morality, one's external distractions are pacified, and then now when the external distractions are pacified, then one is now more equipped or enabled to work in overcoming the inner subtle inner distractions. So with the inner distractions, there being two types: gross and subtle. The gross inner distractions, as mentioned earlier, being dullness and excitement, that is overcome by meditative concentration. So that is the second higher training, meditation, or meditative concentration. So that is so when the grosser inner distractions of dullness and excitement are overcome, then and pacified, then one is more equipped and able to overcome the subtle inner distractions, which is the grasping to a self. Grasping to true self. Then one needs to use the wisdom, the higher training of wisdom, which is specifically the wisdom realizing selflessness or emptiness, which is the specifically using special insight. One then needs to, one uses that as a means to overcome the most subtle inner distractions of the grasping to a self. So this is how it is related to the three higher trainings. So thus, as explained here, ethics restrain and pacify your misdeeds of both body and speech, and do this by taking you out of the mental yoke of your grossest conceptual thoughts. So thus, by overcoming, thus as mentioned earlier, when one follows the ethics of, as mentioned earlier, specifically when related to the 10 misdeeds, then by overcoming the 10 misdeeds of the misdeeds of one's body. So thus, by, as mentioned here, the misdeeds of one's body, which includes the three misdeeds or wrong deeds of the body, such as killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct, and the misdeeds of the speech, which is lying, refraining from lying, divisive speech, harsh speech, and idle gossip. So when one refrains from these misdeeds of the body and speech, then naturally by the virtue of refraining from that, one becomes much more conducive to be able to overcome the gross mental conceptions. What is mentioned here, the grossest conceptual thoughts in one's mind is overcome. So I think we come to the fourth or fifth, abandoning the demands of society. The fifth one, yeah. No, maybe it's a thing that I know it's a channel. Sister, then, Mother, my child, Magajan, my chocolate never choose it. And I, Atisha, what chose my young and Atisha, my child, mother, children, my child, that in which you are my rest is the sham of Pongo rest, that's on the So then, that's the fifth one here, abandoning the demands of society. A more literal translation from the Tibetan word duzi is can be translated as the hustle and bustle of society. So here, as explained, this means restricting the time you spend on meaningless actions, conversations, and so forth. So with the like the hustle and bustle of society would be like where there's a lot of gatherings of people, and you involve yourself, you go into these gatherings and you get involved with with then starting to talk and gossip about all sorts of things, and then that's where you start saying, oh, so and so this and that, this doing this and that, and then you get involved in so many how should we say, distractions in that way. So thus, if one gets overly involved in such conversations among society, then really it actually becomes an obstacle for one's development of one's meditative concentration, because a lot of time is completely wasted. So as presented in the teachings, amongst the 5 unwholesome deeds, non-virtuous or unwholesome deeds, idle gossip is said to be the least grave, or in terms of negativity it is the least negative, but however in terms of obscuring us from the Dharma, it is one of the for us on our level one of the worst, because by engaging in idle gossip, it takes so much. We spend so much time, which otherwise could be used on the Dharma practice.
So they che in bis, so they che, and thing and the chet in Madrid and get ticket that in Chegares, and be so they che in be, they choose. Then you are shan, you are she, Rushu Jong, the Chichutan, then you are shan, you are their conscience, then you are shan, you are said that, Shan Mayan Batin, you are that in the zero, and she with that, they are going to other.
So further, the teaching explains that you must have very little to do with such meaningless actions in order to be completely undistracted by them. Development of concentration is much more important, and so you will automatically have little to do with these things because you have few wants and have contentment. So this again relates to the earlier points of when one has few wants, or if on the basis of the practice of having practicing few wants or less desire and having contentment, then it will also protect one from having to engage in the meaningless demands or of society. Then that is then how one will be able to have the means to develop meditative concentration.
다 접하는데 내가 너도 있고 다 봐야 되는 레서스는 지단 레서스다 다 봐야 사이 오찬 내가 레서스 봐야 완전 있다 다 잔다 서르데 선바를 예바인가 내 주로 마바 다 잡아 내바라서 너도 유스 봉아서 잡아대
And the sixth is completely abandoning conceptual thoughts such as desire.
다 집바라 뭐 대처로서 로션 거기 수정에 저 로이체사 다 내발라서 너도 유스 봉아서라 다 내가라서 말에 내발라서 봐서 내발라서 봐다 너도 봉아나 대비 예미도 못답에서 손이 대달라 로로바데스 되나 손도다 소시 세바드나 신내진 저바라 너 줄을 먹고 봐 수유스 제대다 그래서 다 다시 제자래 대발서 너도 유서 공안어서 다 가르센자 대비체데 예미 봐서 가르스 내가 자리 제마라 변하지 얼라진 저다 저러서 세네 맞은 산 대바 채소는 다 너스 되네 사발라 된 진도 너세 되네 수인 다 잘라서 되게 많이 봐 언나지 가서 산하지 못아바를 깨지만 지바래 이제 농경에는 산던다 쇼케 시보이나 군다 좀버려랑 아주 매운 통이야 이다 이다 사선 전에서나 야보아라 못아바거나 전에 야보야 못아바거나 가는데 싫어 패근데 와 제 차바나시 컴 못아바 깨지 이제라서 나는 좀바 통보 싸니 요만 되와 있다 손으로 대해서 데레스
So while there is more further elaborate explanation on the earlier points, as I mentioned earlier, I leave that to you to read more and more in detail. So I'm presenting here as a way to explain the essential points, but also as a way to encourage you to read further on the text. So now here on completely abandoning conceptual thoughts such as desire, as the text mentions here, turn your mind away from these thoughts by thinking about the drawbacks of desire and about impermanence. So the conceptual thoughts such as desire are again the disturbing discursive thoughts in relation to wanting based on following the sensual desires. So as mentioned earlier, if one does not practice the mind of having being content and having being satisfied with few ones, then the mind will just follow and completely follow the conceptual thoughts in thinking about schemes and ways of how to acquire more and how to acquire more wealth, and so then that will be a preoccupation in one's mind. So as a way to as a means to overcome such conceptual thoughts, discursive conceptual thoughts, thinking about impermanence it becomes one of the very, very good remedies. Really thinking about how no matter how much wealth one has, it will one day all have to disintegrate, cease. In fact, there are many examples of individuals who are wealthy in the morning and towards evening they've lost all their wealth, and this is an actual occurrence that we can see. So thinking about how that transcendent nature or impermanent nature of the wealth and so forth can help to reduce one's obsession, sort of excessive thinking about following the desires and so forth to acquire wealth and so forth. So these are, as explained here, what we need to contemplate on. So as the teachings present, there are these four conditions are inevitable, which is that all acquisitions are have to at the end have to become exhausted, and all births end in death, and then all partings, all meetings are end in parting, and then all that are in a high status end in having to be in a low. So this is said to be the conditions of some of the conditions of the cycle existence. So these actually pointers are, in fact, on a practical level, can be very helpful for our mind to eliminate by contemplating on this, and contemplating the reality of these situations can help to eliminate great agony in one's mind, such as if one was a high status, if something were to circumstances changes where suddenly one loses that status, it will not be such a big shock to one's mind, having already contemplated that is the nature of impermanence. The nature of impermanence, that at one time one was in a high status, but one loses that position. So then that will not cause so much agony in the mind. Likewise, that on this second point about impermanence is that that all meetings end up in separation. So thus again with one's relationships, with partners or so forth. If there's excessive obsession, desire, and so forth, then when a separation or a separation takes place, or when they have to a parting takes place, there can be a lot of agony in the mind again due to this, not being able to, give that up. So however, if one has a mind acquainted with this, then it can be easier. So thus that to contemplate on that all produced phenomena is in the nature of being impermanent, and thus contemplating on various levels of this reality truth can be really helpful to the mind. This is really a point to keep in mind. So we'll recite 8 verses of the mind training. So the recitation of the 8 verses you can dedicate for Carrie, who's been taken unwell, and then also someone else, another lady's mom passed away.
office people. Maryland.
Marilyn. Marilyn.
Or sister.
Or sisters.
Sister death. Last Friday she came here. Friday. Yes. In the quarter onto the Java young Kessler. In the thousand she is. They do Teji now, so Java yard, make a thousand tattoo upon the other.
So Marilyn's sister, or Marilyn used to work in the office before, so both individuals have connection with us, and one coming to the study group, and the other has been in here in the past, and so in any case we can now dedicate for them. So for those who, and likewise others as well, that we have, we can dedicate towards practice, and by visualizing Buddha Amitabha on the crown, and thus then when reciting the verses, that receiving the nectar and light from Buddha Amitabha, and that for those who are unwell, that to be able to be cured from the ailments and illness soon, to be able to recover well, and then those who have passed away, for Buddha Amitabha to continuously guide them and help them to, on the righteous path, the Dharma path leading to enlightenment. So it's in this way then when we can dedicate these practices in such way, then it becomes very meaningful. Our practice does definitely carry some, good weight to benefit.
On page 58, being determined to accomplish the highest welfare for all beings who excel the wish-fulfilling gem, I shall constantly hold them dear. When accompanying anyone, I shall view myself as the lowest of all, and in the depths of my heart shall hold dearly others as supreme. Examining my continuum throughout all actions, as soon as an emotional affliction arises that endangers myself and others, by facing it I shall strictly avert it. When seeing a being of wicked nature who is forced by violent wrongs and sufferings, I shall hold dear this one so hard to find, as though discovering a precious treasure. When others out of jealousy treat me badly with abuse, insults and the like, I shall accept their hard words and offer the other the victory. When someone whom I have assisted and whom I have placed great hope inflicts me with extremely bad harm, I shall view him as my supreme spiritual friend. In short, I shall offer benefit and bliss to all my mothers in this actual life and the future continuum, and secretly I shall take upon myself all the harms and sufferings of my mothers. Also, having not defiled all these by the stain of preconceptions of the 8 worldly feelings, and by perceiving all phenomena as illusory, free from attachment, I will be released from bondage.
So the volunteers bring the tea and then recite whatever.
Tara praises, page 13. From your sublime